Hi, I'm Harvey Jurgen with Simple Solutions Real Estate, a home investors franchise here in Columbus, Ohio. Today we're here with Christy Hawkins, and we are diving into the foreclosure process. Christy, before we get into what a foreclosure is and what the process looks like, who are you? And tell us a little bit about your background.
Thanks, Harvey. My name is Christi Hawkins, and for the last 25 years, I've been involved in the real estate industry in one of several different ways. I spent time as a licensed real estate agent. I also spent time as a mortgage loan originator. Um, in the last 3 years, I decided to switch focus and turn to the real estate investing side. And right now I work in acquisitions for a real estate investing company.
Okay, cool. So quite the experience.
A lot of experience.
All right, let's talk about the foreclosure process and I guess just about the definition of foreclosure. I think it's a word that gets thrown around a lot and has some misconception around it. Will you tell us what a foreclosure actually is and what the process usually looks like?
Certainly. I'm going to give you the legal definition of what a foreclosure is, and then we'll go
Perfect.
from there. It's the legal process by which a lender attempts to recover the amount owed on a defaulted loan. And in layman's term, that means they're going to take your house.
And
They're
why
going
is,
to take your house. Why? Because you haven't been making the payments.
okay. And then what? What are they gonna, what is their goal?
Well, the bank's called, they don't want the house back. The lender does not want to take your house back. It creates an enormous amount of work that they don't want. So stay in contact with your lender. From the moment you miss your first payment, they're going to start to contact you.
Okay. And so they're gonna call me and send me letters.
They're going to do both, and a lot of both.
Okay, so I'll know that the lender is starting. I'll probably already have an idea that something's amiss if I've missed a payment.
If you've
And
missed a payment, you'll probably be aware. Yes.
yeah, and then they're going to start reaching out and calling me immediately, or is there a time frame that they'll not reach out to me?
They're going to, if the mortgage is due on the first of the month, by the 6th, they're going to start reaching out to you.
Okay, and then let's say that I don't contact my bank, I don't work anything out, and I keep missing payments. What's likely to happen next?
What's likely to happen next is, as time goes by, the foreclosure process can't start until you've been late for 3 months, 90 days.
Okay.
So they're going to send you, first they're going to send you what's called a demand letter. You're going to ignore that. Then after the 90-day point, they're going to file what's called a notice of default with the local court system. That sets off the foreclosure process.
Okay, so the foreclosure process is actually a local court process?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay,
It's handled by the local clerk of courts.
okay, with my lender.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
And the ultimate goal then is they're going to sell the house at what's called a sheriff's sale. And they're going to sell your house to someone who is going to buy it.
so then after they filed with the local court, what does it look like for me? Do I still have a chance to keep my house?
You do.
What
You
do I
do.
need
You
to
have a
do?
chance right up until the moment of the auction. Technically, it's called the redemption period.
Okay,
And right up until the moment of the auction, if you can come up with the money to make your loan current, then yes, it won't go through. Remember, they don't want the house
and I have to absolutely make my loan current, or
current.
is there chances that I can work out some other sort of deal in good faith with a lender, or does it depend on the
No,
lender? Okay,
no, no, there's no good faith.
okay,
You have to make your loan current. And
okay,
that includes, in addition to all the late fees and the interest and all that stuff too.
okay. So I'm not able to do that. It goes to foreclosure. I'm still in my house. I still haven't made a payment, and now somebody else owns the house.
Mhm.
Then what does it look like for me?
Then you have about 30 days and then you'll be evicted.
Okay,
The new owner will most likely contact you and say, hey, we'd like to, this is an eviction notice. You have to be out in 30 days. And if you're not out in 30 days, then the local sheriff is going to come and knock on your door. And they're
okay,
going to forcibly remove you from the property.
okay. And I don't want that.
You don't.
I don't want
Nobody
that.
wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody wants that.
Let's say then that going back, before it goes to the court, or even before it goes, I got asked after it goes to the court, but before it goes to auction, is there anything else I can do that would put me in a better position than getting evicted from my own house?
Oh, lots of things you can do. You can start packing. You can start packing and you can start finding a place to rent.
Okay.
That's because you're not, after that point, you have to get out.
Right.
You have to get out.
Hmm.
That's why it's so important to stay in touch with your lender and to talk to them, because there are options up until that moment.
Like
But at
what?
that moment, well, you can talk to them about filing a loan modification,
Okay.
which is basically they redo your loan. Now they're going to add on all the late fees, all the interest. They're going to add that on to the end of your loan. They most likely will make it for a longer term. So instead of like a 30-year loan, you might have a 36.
Okay.
There are pros and cons of a loan modification, but it's certainly something to look into.
Okay.
I mean, the goal is you do not want a foreclosure.
Right.
If you want to try to sell the property before foreclosure, that's great, because you don't want it on your credit report,
Hmm.
and you don't want to be forcibly removed from a property.
Okay. So if I want to list a house and try and sell it
Mhm.
before the foreclosure process, I'm able to do that. It
Yes.
sounds like. Does that process look any different than a normal sale?
No, except for
Okay.
time.
Okay.
Time. You're not going to have as much time.
To
You're
sell
probably
it.
going to have 30 to 60 days, so it would have to go into contract pretty quickly.
Okay. That makes
That's
sense.
that's the disadvantage with that. It's the time.
Okay. That makes sense. And then what is a short sale, and is that an option for me?
Sure. A short sale is basically you negotiate with the bank or with your lender for a smaller amount than what you owe.
Okay.
So basically, they agree to a price. They take out all of their fees, all that stuff, and they come up with a number that is less than what is owed.
Okay.
And if you can come up with that number,
Okay.
then as long as they approve it, you can. That's another option as well.
Okay. So but it's on me to go to my bank and start
Yes.
that process.
Yes.
If
Yes.
I-
They're gonna. I mean, they're gonna. I've known of lenders that have knocked on the door too.
Okay. All right. So if I'm in this position, if I've missed a couple payments, let's say, and I'm worried about being foreclosed on, besides reaching out to my lender, which is extremely important, is there anybody else I should reach out to? Are there any other steps, or let's say, are there any other resources out there that I could reach out to get information, or to make sure that I have a full understanding of what my options are?
Yes, you can contact, a local discounted home buyer. You could call a real estate investor, actually.
Hmm. Or a real estate agent, maybe?
Yes, you could call a real estate agent too. I would call both.
Okay.
Yes, I would call both. I could call everybody.
Right.
Try to sell the house yourself. You could even, again, the time consideration, but you could try selling it yourself.
True.
You could try to do that, but I guess the main goal is to do something.
Yeah, I should try almost any option other than just letting it go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because also, if maybe you've got some equity, maybe you just couldn't come up with the payments and you ran into some hard times. If you've got equity in that property, you don't want to see that go.
Right.
That's your money to start over again.
Right. And if I don't know that, contacting a real estate agent or a real estate professional is a good way to figure that out.
It's a great way. You've got to talk to somebody who understands this, who does this every single day.
Awesome. Christy, why don't you give us your email address?
Okay.
And we'll put your contact information in the post itself.
Okay.
But how can we reach you?
You can reach me at CMH AWKINS CM Hawkins 9674 @gmail.com.
Awesome. Well, I feel like I learned something today.
Good.
And I
Good.
hope everyone else did too. I think they would. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.